Hi, Pipers. Les coming to you from the pipe and patio here on a Wednesday afternoon. I was sitting here smoking my Mario Grande Dublin, and ended up smoking some Peter Stokeby Luxury Flake. Just sitting out here and kind of enjoying the afternoon. Kind of enjoying the weather. It's kind of cool, kind of brisk. And was just thinking, I was had watched a video by a new presenter that Kevin, Louisiana pipe guy, 1965, had introduced me to, Pipe Pappy, and he was talking a good bit the other day about heroes and his dad and his dad's service and to his country, and that he regretted that he had never got to, or that he had never thanked his dad for his service to his country. And I don't know if I've ever thanked my dad. I remember we talked about it. I know I was real proud of him, and but I don't know if we ever just sat down and I ever just said, Dad, I'm thanks for doing that, for putting your life on the line and protecting this country. But what I really want to talk about is the line of people. I do a genealogy as a hobby, and I got to thinking about it. My dad served in Korea and was in Korea for 2 years, and he went in at Incheon in South Korea, and he fought all the way up through South Korea and North Korea, all the way up to the Yalu River. And he said you could look across the Yalu River into China. And at that point is when the Chinese had what they called the million volunteers that came in, and they pushed back the American forces, and they had just started to regroup and push back on the Chinese when the armistice was signed. So I just can remember talking about my dad. Some of the things that I remember is he talked about going to sleep at night in a sleeping bag on the ground, and you'd wake up and there'd be 4 or 5 inches of snow on top of you. You'd be completely covered with snow, and it's just amazing to think back. I look at pictures that I have from when he was in Korea, and he looks like a kid almost, 18, 19 years old. He just and to go over there and to do what they did, it's just amazing. But the other thing I was thinking about is the people that I know of in my family that did fight and represent their country and their state. And my grandfather was born in 1898, and he was in France during World War One. And I really don't know a lot about what he did and where he served in France and what his unit did. It's one of the things I want to follow up on. But that was some tough fighting. I know, like I said, I don't know exactly what he did, but I know there was trench warfare and there was a lot of gassing of people in that war. So it was a tough, challenging time. And now my great grandfather, I don't know if he served. He was born in 1864, so actually born during the Civil War. And but I just have never heard anybody talk about it, and I haven't run across any records where he was in the service. Now, his dad was born in 1830, my great-great-grandfather, and he served in the Confederate States of America in the 7th Mississippi Cavalry Unit. I do know that he was in Captain Stockdale's battalion of Mississippi 7th Cavalry. And he mainly served, he was from Liberty, Mississippi area, and he mainly served in that area. I know that he was at Vicksburg. I don't think he was there during the siege, but I know at some time that battalion was there, and they mainly fought in and around Mississippi and northern Mississippi, from what information that I've got. And then his dad was born in 1808, and I don't know that if he had any military service or not. Never read anything, never come across anything, but I do know that my fourth great grandfather, he was born, we think, about 1785, and he fought at the Battle of New Orleans in 1814. He was there, and there's still some question as to whether or not he was there with his brother or his dad. His name was Stephen. His dad's name was Alexander, and then there was an Alexander Jr. So it could have been his dad, although he would have been probably in his 50s. It could have been his brother. His brother would have been about 14, but one way or the other, one of them was there because they're both on the rolls down in Chalmette at the National Battlefield. But just made me think about that and think about the history that I have and the people in my family, the men that have served when called upon. And the other thing it makes you think about is how fortunate you are to be here. You have a war like the Civil War that had such high casualty rate, and to have them come through that, and to have them come through the War of 1812, where they just kind of stood up, and almost similar fighting as in the Civil War, where they just stood across the field and came forward and shot at one another. It took much courage to be able to do that day in and day out. So it's amazing that I'm even here when I think about it. That all these people in my family that's had this military service in these wars, they came through and were not killed. So just something I was thinking about. Don't know if y'all know a whole lot about your military history, or if you know about a lot of history about your family. If you haven't ever fooled with genealogy, I would highly recommend it. It's a real fun hobby. One thing I will caution you against is that if you do get involved in it, it's contagious. I mean, not contagious, but it is contagious, but it'll consume you, is what I meant to say. You'll be down at that library or on that computer and look up, and you've been there 4 or 5 hours. So anyway, just was thinking about that and thought I'd share. So till next time, guys, everybody just keep them pipes lit and keep them smoking.